Hi, welcome to the garden. And we have another guest today. It's getting busy over here at springtime. This is Ursula O'Farrell. And Ursula and I met early on my journey in working with grids and things. And she has a real interesting story. She also works with arts. She also works with sacred geometry a lot. So I'm going to let her just talk and tell you what her story is. And if I can enlighten us, I'll bring in a question. Okay, this is Ursula. There you go.
Hi, everyone. It's an honor to be part of Nancy Jean's woo-woo crew invitees. This is the first time I've ever spoken publicly about how to marry up what I do with one hand and the other. This hand, I'm a professional painter in the art world. And the other hand that most people don't know is that I study all things metaphysical. And so for the longest time, I've only shared this hand publicly and this one's been private, but now like the caduceus, it's time in this Aquarian age and with Nancy's invite to let my fuller self come forward. And it's been terrific following Nancy Jean in the garden because I feel like it's like a sisterhood. There's a coherence and a resonance for how to speak as we've moved into the Aquarian age now and how to share as a network instead of just a one person doing one thing. But I've been so inspired by listening to Nancy. I was one of the people who was fortunate to receive a crystal grid, fired that baby up, and my phone's been ringing. I've had more sales of my paintings than ever. But my story really is raised Catholic, big family, military. My mom's from China. And I've always done painting. There's some fascination I have about bringing earth elements with water or oils and watching the magic happen, letting paint be paint. So anyway, there's just been a wonderful journey and I've lived a blessed life where many doors have opened for me professionally. I do have a professional art website, but what Nancy Jean and I are here to talk about is this little something I've created along the way. My mom passed in 2018, and as in honor of her passing, I started teaching local mandala art classes just for the fun of it. And then when COVID hit, and I couldn't have my class come and play in learning more about mandalas, I started creating these astrological wheels, thinking one day I'll get to teach them. So they're really a teaching, from a teaching perspective, sharing some of what I call light language, languaging in terms of glyphs, symbols, sacred alchemical combinations of planets and astrology. So if my friends could tell you, they'll say I'm always talking about all things metaphysical. And so again, thank you, Nancy, for letting me join you today, because it was a little bit like, oh, I'm going to be seen. But then it's time now. My father just passed. And so when you don't have your mother or your father on the earth, you feel like, I guess I've got to step up now. And what do I want to talk about without fear of judgment? And so the courage has come forward. And thank you for this opportunity, Nancy.
Well, I'm glad you came. I think first we should show them some of what you've done. So we're going to share the screen. This is a completed grid that Ursula did, and it's got all of the stones around it, and it's obviously an astrologic chart. If you could tell them how to work with it, Ursula.
Sure. So we're calling these the birthday wheels. And the thought was from Spirit that when it's your birthday, or if you have a friend whose birthday, you can track your next year around the sun using a zodiac wheel. And you can empower each month as you go around the sun and learn a little bit more about, okay, Aries, Taurus, Gemini. And then I started bringing out my jewelry because Nancy has been teaching us about the beauty of crystals. So I thought, you know, I've got all these pendants and I've got seashells and flower essences. Maybe now that we're, you know, in this time, this new month, I'm just going to lay some crystals and jewelry that I've had in my drawer. So it's just trying to inventing as I go along, but these are handmade. No two wheels are alike, and I've decided to Nancy to launch 11 and see how people want to play with them. But there's mostly a visual aid to help you look at time instead of linearly like the Gregorian calendar does, but to track your year as you go, almost like a mandala, circularly or even spiralically. So you go around the wheel. And if you're into the language of astrology and you're new, this might help, because you'll see on the ends, you'll see each glyph. You have to kind of turn the wheel, but each glyph for each of the zodiac signs is included.
Let's see if I can get to the other picture.
And your birthday's coming up, right, Nancy?
That's true. It is going to be here. Let's see, I've got a, okay. There's the wheel as you would get it. Correct, Ursula? Can you see
Right.
it? Okay. Because Ursula does not send it with all little stones on there, because that's her own personal jewelry, just in case you didn't catch that. But this is basically what one of the wheels looks like. You didn't talk about the crystals, the little
Right.
shiny bits.
So what I've learned along my way is I went and I bought some Swarovski crystals from Austria. And those are little activators that come with this birthday wheel. And it's painted on canvas panel using acrylic paint. But the Swarovski crystals, there's 12 of them. Those will empower anything that lays within that little piece of the pie. So that's the thought. And in the center of the wheel is you. In this case, I've placed a yin yang, but you can also take, if you own one, like a little crystal tower, or put a flower there, or a seashell, but it's you as you go around the wheel.
Okay. Do you want to comment anything else about it? They're
Well,
all hand done.
yeah, they're hand done. So I was,
Look at the
from a
previous one.
teacher's,
See, it's a different, this one's a little darker.
yeah, each one. So you'll see if you like learning about astrology, I've put red for the fire signs.
Mhm.
Green, so you see 3 green ones are for the earth signs. 3 yellow areas are for air. And then the darker blue is for water. So in addition, you'll see black and white areas where the little crystals are. Those will show you the male and feminine natures of each of the signs.
Okay. Okay, that's okay. We're back.
Yay. So if you
So
like astrology and you like to track your year, or if you know someone who likes astrology and you want to give them a birthday present, this is really making things fun. And I had never thought to take a painting and lay it flat until I received Nancy's grid that she did personally, fired that baby up, and let me tell you, it worked. And so this is kind of coming from the joy of my heart to create these. But after the 11 are sold, I'm just enjoying making more sacred art to help support people as we go through this Aquarian age.
mhm. Okay, and we're working on a way to get them distributed. Right now, Ursula and I are talking about we may get them featured in my store at www.crystaldirections.com. Not to make this into an infomercial. Trust me, today when I started, I went, sure, we're going that way. But that would help her as far as tracking, and then they take out the sales tax and deal with all that crap. So
Right.
she doesn't have to. Yeah, and she wants to talk a little bit more about learning. What are you going to put on those spaces? You're saying, oh, that's lovely, but how do I know what to put where?
Right. So if you're a beginner to crystals, and I would consider myself a beginner, I have Judy Hall's book here called The Crystal Bible. She has another Crystal Bible 2 book, which I also own, but I've had it, but I've never really looked into it. And there's a particular, on page 362 and 363, she'll go by each of the zodiac signs and tell you which crystals you may want to consider putting down on that piece of pie. There's not 1 or 2 or 3. She lists quite a few. You can see I'm double Virgo, so I had to make myself my own list. But I know right? With a Pisces moon. So I'm always talking about spirituality. So it's really for you. If you want to go deeper, you've got a visual aid. I imagine someone might take the canvas painting that I would send. You could frame it without the glass, and then you could put your crystals, flowers, seashells, anything that you want to support yourself throughout the year. It's almost like a visual reminder. Oh yeah, we're going around the sun one more time. And I got to tell you, with COVID, I am so thankful for each day, each month, and then the year. So it helps remind me, oh yeah, I'm going around the sun one more time.
Yes.
It's really playful. I mean,
yeah,
I get so
and
serious.
the other thing is, if you don't want to look it up by the zodiac sign, if you say in June, I want to have some sort of thing happen, you can actually just Google crystals that are good for. Trust me, I do this frequently because I can't remember what all the crystals are good for, and I have an extensive Excel file. I can sort through it, but I don't always have exactly what the keywords I want to look at. And what I like about this, looking at the zodiac that way, is it helps my people who are like, I really want to work with crystals, but I don't know what to do with them. Well, give this a try. You'll find as you handle crystals and put them in these sort of empowering places, you'll feel the energy of them.
Yeah, and in the center, some of them might come with this infinity sign. Some of them have this glyph for the sound of Om, and that's the sound of all creation in the universe. So they're each numbered, and there will be 11. So 11 folks who come in first will be able to be sent a birthday wheel. And I will just say, the crystals are of Mother Earth, so that grounds us with the mother.
Right.
And then we're the divine child, but above us is Father Sky. So the birthday astrology wheel also helps us remember we're connected to the cosmos. Sometimes we get so focused on being here, down here, that we forget to look up. And hopefully learning astrology, you remember, oh yeah, I'm part of this greater cosmos.
Yeah, and I always tell people that when you want to learn astrology, when I started studying it, I was in college. It was a free university thing that was at night. And I'd read cards and stuff, and I knew they were somehow related. Astrology, the best way to learn astrology is to get your own chart, learn what's on your own chart, and deal with the aspects on your own chart. This is another way to do that I think is really good, because it kind of takes the pressure off it being your birthday, and it gives you more empowerment to direct your energy. I was sharing some quotes earlier with Ursula, because we had to talk about how we're going to do this, and it goes, this is said, when the soul wants an experience to experience something, she throws out an image in front of her and steps into it. So this is kind of what you're doing with her wheel.
Yeah,
you get an image of what you want, you put it in there,
ourselves into it. Yeah,
and you step, and your soul gets a chance to step into it. Ursula was kind enough to send me one of these a while back. I think I featured it a couple times on my show, saying thank you. And I had a couple people ask me, and she wasn't ready to go up and do this yet, but now she's ready to do these 11.
I'm coming out.
And if you want to watch, I will announce if we're going to get it on my website. If not, Ursula's email, which you can see on the screen, you can write her and maybe snag one before they get popular. It's amazing how fast things will disappear once they're out there, and it's such a unique product. It is hand done. Anyway, I just applaud her for coming up with a new way to work with the zodiac, and because she's working with crystal, she's got my extra woo.
Thank you so much, Nancy.
So I'm going to pull a card. Do you have anything else that you want to talk about, Ursula? Anything else you got going on?
I would just say, if understanding what it means to be in the new Aquarian age is of interest to you, this language of light and tracking the cosmos will be imperative. We're sending people to Mars and the moon, and it's stepping into a bigger image of who you are within the
Mhm.
cosmos. So it's not like, oh, well, why should I study astrology? It's more about, it's a light language. And it's
Mhm.
for you to, if you want to step into that, just playing in the garden. So
Mhm.
I'm that little weed in the garden that, kind of sprouts up and says, hey, what about the cosmos? And connecting it with the crystals is a beautiful Mother Earth, Father God. And then there you are in the middle.
Yeah,
So
but what's planted in the soil of contemplation, we will reap in the harvest of time. And so it's really, that's kind of what I try to tell people. Think about things intentionally, think about what your intentions are, and work towards them, because that's the only what you're the only one who can make you. And I know there's a lot of people who want me to find the one card that will make them not be responsible for themselves, but that ain't gonna happen anytime soon. So
a lot of fun.
we're gonna pull one more relationship oracle card for us today. And we got commitment, beautiful.
Ooh.
Okay. And the frequency of commitment supports our ability to devote ourselves in all aspects of our being with an unwavering belief. So I think that's perfect for this. Make the commitment, decide you want to grow with this, and have a good time. So I will put in the notes below Ursula's email address, and hopefully the problem with my shop right now is the person who takes care of restocking the shop, even if it's digitally, is in New York. So she's not restocking my shop this week. So it won't be till after the weekend that I can have this up. And we'll see if she even makes it to the weekend with any of these left to put in the shop. And I will tell you this, what she'll do is we won't display all the boards on the shop. We'll have one board that we show. And you kind of get the middle you get. So if you get the Ohm, the Infinity, or the whatever, you get what you get. Because she has that variety, and the colors, I mean, unless you have just, it's got to be this color palette. And I get that all the time in the stones, and then they'll pull a card that doesn't have that color in it. So what can I say? Anyway, so do you have anything else you want to say, Ursula, other than?
Just, you brought out my inner child that wanted to play in the garden, and just, not be so serious, but there's learning there, but it's more about the joy of celebrating. God, we get to go around the sun one more year. Yay!
I know. Yes. And that's crashing right up on me. One more digit on my
Yay!
my
Happy
age.
birthday. Happy birthday.
Yes. And I look forward to hearing from you. And if you have something you'd like to discuss, send it to me or ask me questions. And I'm glad to try and find people that can fill in the blanks if you have a question. And other than that, I think we're finished with the garden today. Thank you, Ursula, for coming and speaking about it. I love the board. I think it's beautiful. And I will talk to you later this week. I've got a couple other things going on, but I promise I'm going to have something up on Thursday and Friday too. Thanks so much for stopping in the garden.